is at Endpoint. A best of 5 is going to decide that right now. With the commentaries, it'll be Lawler and Final Carpet. Take it away, guys.
Thanks, Toss. Not only are they the first team with a gaming house, but they are also the GFIN Elite Series champions on Endpoint. But they've got a big battle, a big team of veterans on the other side in MOCKIT.
Tinny and Cheerio, my boys. Literally, that goes all the way back to the PPL days. One of the first tournaments I ever organized and planned. They were on 0 effort, and back then there was also another name they were under, which I cannot think of right now.
A long time ago.
First time I ran into Tinny in ranked was the first time I watched someone air dribble, and I proceeded to lose that game horrendously.
I remember
was like, that's oh, okay.
The first time I remember seeing someone air dribble, everybody just yelled, "He's a wizard!" Like, because no one understood that it was possible.
Yeah, it was pretty bad. It was dirty.
Yeah, it's unreal. But for both these teams, obviously getting into game number 1 here, they set it over on the desk. MOCKIT has had kind of a back and forth series. There's times where they're like 3-1 envious, but then they'll lose to someone I've never heard of the following week. So it doesn't really make any sense. And I guess that consistency is seemingly going away because they do have a ton of talent on this team. Kicking off game number 1 between Endpoint and MOCKIT. Winner gets into the RLCS. Loser drops to that lower bracket just like the previous 3 matches of the day today. As 3 players showing their best bot impression, wiggling back and forth. Eventually able to clear it out into the midfield as Pashy rotates back and collects some boost on that back end. VeryPeak tries to go for a redirect and doesn't quite get it, but Pashy's touch into that corner played well back inside to maintain possession. As Tinny's going to drop that down to his long friend and teammate Cheerio. Chakron with probably my favorite name so far I've seen, trying to play that back inside. Tinny has a shot off of it, but doesn't play it inside correctly. Cheerio trying to take a quick touch off the side. Freaky already waiting back on defense, and that's something that Pashy has done for quite a while, is always built very defensive-heavy teams, but Freaky's going to show some offense in a 1v1 situation going underneath.
The battle of the long name tags versus the short name tags, but there it is. The moment Pashy can slow it down, he will always make something out of it, and there it was, working with his teammate. Freaky there right underneath. They almost bumped into each other. Pashy almost pinched it off his hood unnecessarily. They're able to get the first goal of the series.
Only 1 minute gone by so far. MOCKIT first to put one on the board. As Tinny playing aggressive, wasting no time to challenge both of those 50-50s. You actually see Cheerio cut off that rotation from Chakron, who probably had a better angle on it. But it works out. Chakron's able to read and back off to apply a little bit of counterattack. But the difference of MOCKIT, able to get to those just a little bit quicker. You see it again, 50-50s galore in their favor, and the patient coming out, and it's going to allow Pashy to just allow that one to settle at bottom left.
You'll notice the moment Tinny realized he had to get to this, he went full tilt, full boost all the way, did not let go, because he knew the moment that came off too far and he wasn't able to get a hard touch that it was going to drop right in front. And even though he got a touch, it just wasn't good enough, and they're going to give the second goal up to MOCKIT Esports. Also, I don't know how you're saying his name without getting really into it, because when I see his name, I just go like, Chakron in my head.
Yeah, I want to, but I'm trying to like keep myself a little reserved before it gets nutty. What's Pashy? Pashy says hello, bumps 2 out of the way of the net, but a save from Chakron, able to keep it out. Pashy being a nuisance up front, something he's been doing for so many seasons. The pass up to Freaky is not going to go where he was liking as he rotates back for boost. Pashy plays that across over to VeryPeak, puts a shot underneath, and the 1-2 from MOCKIT.
There it is, seeking each other out. Watch it how they position. The moment Pashy and VeryPeak turn around almost simultaneously on complete different positions of the field because they can see each other. VeryPeak noticed that Pashy was going to get it clear. He wanted to predict, he wanted to be 1 step ahead of everybody, so he gave himself a spot. Pashy cleared it somewhere in the middle of the net, and it gave VeryPeak the opportunity, and well placed by him as well.
MOCKIT yet again, as soon as that kickoff goes, immediately back on offense. Not spending too much time on their own end to pass up from Freaky over to Pashy. Pashy trying to feather his boost to get a second touch. The ball's just short. Should have been a one-on-one situation for VeryPeak and this Endpoint team. But able to buy some time as Pashy rotates back. The pinch coming through in favor of Chakron. It's going to settle down in front. Can he get to it first? No. He does make contact on Freaky, which stops their momentum moving forward. We're halfway through game number 1. MOCKIT up by 3 in this best of 5. And it doesn't seem like they're going to let off anytime soon. Ball cascades in front of the net. All 3 players missing out. Tinny unfortunately forcing that one. But there it is again. Pashy not afraid to slow it down, buy some time from his teammates. Freaky tries to flick that one back across and misses him and allows this Endpoint team to put a shot on net. Saved again by Pashy. As the ball pitches out into the middle, Freaky's going to be the first one to get to it. Grabs some boost as well, but the ball being passed, going for the unselfish player. Rocket of a shot from Pashy just high. Had an opportunity there. But with 1:45 left, it doesn't seem like Endpoint is really doing much to stop this assault from MOCKIT Esports.
And that right now, the biggest difference I can see between these two teams is the way that they do assault. Notice how quickly MOCKIT is there to try and turn the momentum back in their favor, but they pay the price here when trying to do it in midfield unsuccessfully. You'll watch a player go up to try and slow this down, but Freaky doesn't get the touch, and that bounced right into Cheerio's hands. He finds the angle. They will get their first goal, but is it too late?
You do see as well Freaky rotating back, trying to get out of the way with Fairy Peak, and one decides to go for the boost, and it kind of cuts across his field of view. Might have made it a little bit difficult. Chakron tries to play that down back to his teammate Pashy there, immediately playing it up. Always seeing his teammates play it across. Pashy takes another shot, wide open net, and this is kind of one of those cases when it gets to the end of the game, things like this are going to happen.
I mean, this just seems like a difference in confidence. Whenever Pashy and his squad come out, whenever MOCKIT are coming onto offense, they're very confident in their positioning and they know how each other plays. They know where the interactions are going to happen, and they know when they can dedicate. It feels that Endpoint's going to get like 1 or 2 okay shots, but then they're a little too timid to want to keep that up. Too timid to go for the 50-50, take a little bit of risk, try and steal some boost and stay up there. I don't know if it's just because they haven't been playing together potentially as long, but I don't think that's true at all. Or just maybe they feel like they know this team's big and they're almost respecting them a little bit too much.
Yeah, it can definitely be a problem, respecting the team too much, giving them a lot of space. This MOCKIT team definitely abusing it. Obviously, Pashy, one of the many who was involved with roster swaps originally on Gale Force last season, barely missing out on the playoffs. He pops that, decides to slow it down, goes for the slow roller, tries to cut it across, doesn't get the angle, but the follow from Freaky, still a bunch of pressure with 30 seconds left. This one definitely in MOCKIT's favor. Endpoint needs to do something, and it might actually just be too late, as the more time this ball spends in the air, the more in favor it is of MOCKIT. They just haven't been able to find really the back of the net other than that one shot from Cheerio. 15 seconds, Freaky's gonna take this one down. He actually passes it off to Pashy. He passes it off to the other team. But at this point, it doesn't really matter. Only 5 seconds left on the clock. As this ball is gonna settle, it's gonna be the first game in favor of MOCKIT Esports. Pashy wants to take some pop claps, I guess.
Is this a feeler game for Endpoint, or will this be the beginning of yet another sweep for MOCKIT? The desk has finally caved in. They're starting to predict more sweeps.
I mean, we've been predicting sweeps over there. It just hasn't been the right way.
Fair enough.
I mean, that last game, we all thought it was going to go one way, and it was the complete opposite.
Yeah, that's true.
Because Bluey's nuts.
But still, Endpoint putting up 8 shots, so it's not like they aren't able to get it in to MOCKIT's half. It's not like they're not able to push out. They're not stuck on defense the whole time. Yes, 6 saves as well, which means that you're probably having to wait a little bit too long for those shots. But they seem pretty confident when they're on defense. But it just really is. I'll see 1 shot, 2 shots, and then when I would expect to see a player turn around to get 1 more contest, they instead go for the safer route where they retreat onto the side, which I think as a player feels a little bit better, more comfortable, because you have a little more control of understanding where they're going. But you're also, now your team all has to retreat really quickly.
Right,
you guys have lost a lot of that kind of click that you have on that rotation. Now, like, you're the guy that has to buy time for everybody. And I think it's given them a little bit of a hiccup here and there. So I'd like to see if they can be a little more confident in their aggression and to see how that pans out for them in game number 2.
And correct me if I'm wrong on this one, but it also seems like when they are moving back, they're all doing it at the same time. There's no one there to buy them time. Like, there's not that one person that's going to contest something in the midfield, just so they do get a little bit of extra time to get those boosts or move back into possession, or find a way to actually have favorable possession, period.
Yeah, and it almost feels like MOCKIT, they have a set piece at this point. You can tell that the passes that they're executing, you can tell they've done them hundreds of times. There's just someone sitting out of middle, someone's going to clear it to that kind of middle-ranged area to give him something to work with. And that player can take the shot, he can take the pass, he can drop it back down. They're giving themselves lots of options.
Lots of options here for MOCKIT, obviously, as they take game number 1, putting themselves that 1 step closer to securing a spot in the RLCS. They are coming as the #2 seed, but it doesn't matter. Endpoint trying to make a different story for themselves.
This felt like a struggle, but they muscled it through eventually. Cheerios like, I guess I'll just hit it as hard as I can. And they will get the first goal of the game. It's good tone to set for themselves, but I know they probably don't feel like it's truly earned. They were still able to outplay them in a certain positional way.
Well, Tinny came flying in and just wanted something. Luckily for him, Cheerio was able there to muscle it through, like he stated, with the help of Pashy. This Fairy Peak 3, no, only 2 players being involved in that pass play. Doesn't get it quite over to Pashy, who was waiting for the shot. There's the ball coming down. A much different pace coming out from Endpoint as they're playing much faster and way more aggressive, getting a demo there. But Pasha returns the favor, getting a demo on Chakaran. Ball settling in the midfield. MOCKIT the first to recover, able to take a soft touch, trying to maintain some possession. Good read comes out from Chakaran, buying some time. He's going to go and look for a boost tonight, but that leaves Cheerio as the last one back. Plays that upfield. Tinny with a good pass horizontally out to the middle. A shot from Chakaran. Easy save though for MOCKIT. 2 players there waiting. But that's the difference right there. Endpoint not afraid to push up. They're getting in the face of this MOCKIT team as a shot again coming from Chakaran, saved by Freaky. Another one coming from Tinny, but Pashy able to get it over the top.
Cheerio, good trap as well. But now Pashy in the 1v1, you don't want to put yourself in this position. Well played by the defender.
MOCKIT applying pressure themselves now as a minute and a half has gone through the game. Endpoint up by 1, pass across over the middle. Tinny able to read it quite well. Cheerio gets the boost, but allows Tinny to continue his rotation and move upfield. Allows Tinny to get in position to put a shot on net. Easily saved again by MOCKIT across the front, but it is forcing these guys out of a position. Different story so far this game for Endpoint. As 2 minutes has gone by, pass down, well placed, but Fairy Peak not able to get the angle he's looking for. Freaky's gonna just play that off the back wall, forces Timmy out. He plays that back wall, unfortunately not able to get the angle down. This is where MOCKIT usually does their best. They space the field well, and then they apply this pressure. You see Passion coming out with no hesitation as he expects his teammate who got demoed to be back. There is Freaky putting the shot on. He's going to let Fairy Peak take it. The placement top left and in between all 3 defenders of Endpoint.
I mean, this entire last 30 seconds just felt like a matter of time. They just kept taking the shots, and you could see the kind of panic defense Endpoint was forced to play. They had to dedicate 2 to a couple of things. They didn't know who was going to get it. They were all coming from creative angles because they didn't have much of a choice. And eventually, MOCKIT were able to just shatter their defense and break on through.
In that placement as well, he could have played that near post on the right side, but it would have been in the momentum of that defender. But instead, he shoots it right back at where the player jumped. Difficult to recover in time as Fairy Peak and Pashy go up, not able to get the pinch, but the pressure's still there as Fairy Peak denies the boost in front of Cheerio. Able to turn around immediately, goes for a soft touch, but read well by Tinny. Ball settles at the midfield for just a little bit before this MOCKIT team is willing to push it back down. But a long clear has the opportunity to get Chakaran. No, Fairy Peak's gonna jump up and play it to the corner and buy his team some time. But a pass coming out and a follow up from Tinny. Another save from Freaky. These shots just haven't had the pace to find the back of the net just yet. Cheerio plays out along, a good pass inside, another play back into the corner, and it looks like Freaky's gonna have some time to play this one up. He beats one. Chakaran there to beat him, puts it right back, and in this corner we stay until MOCKIT eventually is able to break it out.
Came out a bit too quickly though. Almost a big mistake, putting that towards mid before the support could fully prepare himself for it. And there's a shot from midfield. Cheerio will get the save.
Yeah, like you stated, a mistake that was outfield. Luckily his teammate was willing to buy some time. Pressure just seems to be a little bit overwhelming, but the difference as well is Endpoint is doing a much better job. They are spacing the field. You don't see as many double commits. But the placement from MOCKIT so far, those dangerous shots, especially when they come off that back wall straight down. Dangerous area as Pashy puts a shot on net, easily saved by Tinny, and then a team clear all the way down, forcing Fairy Peak to make the last-ditch effort. Full field transition, applying that pressure. Chakaran back inside and Tinny. Tinny's just not in the right position for it. Lets Cheerio move up to make the play. This Two commit on that side. We now have a 1-on-2 situation as the other two try to get back. Fairy Peak not able to get it inside, gets demoed in the process. But Respawn's right next to that boost, able to get himself back into the play. It's put inside by Endpoint as they all run back onto defense. Only 15 seconds left in this match. MOCKIT trying to put themselves at match point with this win. 10 seconds left on the clock. Pashy's going to go up on the wall. Takes a little bit of a delayed hit. Passes it lightly. No, he's going to dribble it all the way inside on his own. Trying to bring someone out on defense. Fairy Peak with a soft touch. Can he get to it? He's going to no. Let it settle. We're into overtime in game number 2.
At that point, Endpoint, knowing they were probably struggling on boost and possession, just get yourself into overtime, get that kickoff in. Cheerio's going to get an early demolition on Pashy on kickoff.
Can't win the cheat up. Might as well take out the guy who will relieve some pressure. As Endpoint trying to make this one end quickly. Now able to get that pass inside to Tinny as Tinny has to rotate back. Cheerio up at the midfield early. Able to play it in. All 3 defenders going up on that save. Fortunately for Endpoint, they're not able to make of that opportunity. Pitch inside, both teammates playing a little bit more defensive despite this aggression coming out from Endpoint. Just not trying to make any mistakes, any risks. Playing it safely. But this MOCKIT team seems to handle the pressure well. They sit on defense until all 3 are ready to push up as a unit. Pashy making it difficult with that pass going backwards in the corner. Cheerio doing a good job reading, waiting on the wall, and a mistake coming out, and that's going to be a goal for Endpoint in game number 2. We're all tied up in the series.
Oh, that's wrong again. But, you know.
What else is new today?
Who's counting other than myself? Freaky really should have had that, though. Those are difficult when they're... The corner up on the wall is a lot harder to eyeball because you don't have the hard lines as often. It's really hard to know exactly where the corners are and where the bends are and where the straight parts are. So I think he was on that back, assuming it would be rolling along the corner, and it didn't. It came off. He missed it. Pretty big mistake for them. But I will say Endpoint were able to keep up the pace a lot more this time. You can see they outshotted them. Outshotted them.
It's a real word we'll go with because it's you. Why not? You know?
You got to bring it back. Season 4. Got to make a couple new words up.
A for effort. What's the other really good one?
A for effort. I don't remember what the other ones were.
It was in that highlight video. It was hilarious.
Something stupid, though.
I laughed. It was great.
Yeah.
But the big difference, and it kind of shows, we talk about it as well, kind of like a domino effect. All these players have so much faith in each other to make these touches, and all it takes is one mistake. All of them are moving upfield ready for that clear from Freaky. Freaky makes a mistake, and that's all it takes. Yeah. So the big difference in Endpoint, a lot more aggression this past game, as well as the ability to just, you saw Cheerio, he's like, all right, I'm not going to get this sheet up, but I'm going to take your life. And he just comes in. So freeing it up, changing it up, and it's working out for Endpoint.
Yeah, Endpoint seemed to be retreating with purpose a lot more that series, or that game, I should say. Every time they were retreating back, they were like, all right, should they wait up here for a pass? Should I be a target? Should I bump somebody? Maybe I should steal a little bit of their boost. Every time they tried to give themselves a little bit of a mission on the way out.
Right.
So you saw a lot more times where somebody would go up for a touch, and usually they'd retreat back and have the third man come in, but instead they'd stay up with what boost they had, they'd pick up a pad or two, and then be a target for that guy to come and pass it right back. Generally because a lot of players, once you've gone for a shot and missed, you kind of a ghost in most players' heads. They just assume you're going to be retreating and trying to get back for a better position. So I thought it was actually pretty unique for them to pull that off.
Well, I did mention it slightly. They didn't want to take any of those risks, and it pays off. MOCKIT was the one to see the first mistake. They capitalize on it. Tinny getting aggressive again. A good back pass to Chakron, unfortunately for him. The MOCKIT defender gets a touch on it and flicks it back up. He's going to have to rotate back quickly, plays a quick touch, trying to get the boost, but gets demoed in the way. Relieves some of that pressure from MOCKIT. Ricky's trying to play that up on his own. But the Endpoint defender able to stall it just a bit. Pashy was making a touch up above that backboard, not able to find a teammate inside as Freaky gets the pass from Fairy Peak, settles it, and then uses that backboard once again. Joe doing a good job of clearing that out. He decides to get the boost and deny it from Freaky, who is trying to find something on that back, but doesn't have the ability to grab 100 boost as it is missing. Joe playing a long clear, snuffed out by Freaky, who also follows it up with bumping the goalie, but no pass inside to take advantage of it. As a minute has passed, a different story as well this game. No one putting anything on the board just yet, but a back and forth series. Something we didn't really expect. Credit going to Endpoint as they're trying to do their best to keep this one in their favor. Ball pushed back down into the midfield, and it looks like it's going to be settling on the MOCKIT half. Pashy just takes a big boomer. He fakes the jump, tries to get over one, but cannot get the flick over the second. Peak deciding to actually back off in that situation rather than moving up with his teammate. As they have a wide open net opportunity, Pashy just needs to take a shot. He puts it on net, and that's going to be the first goal for MOCKIT on the board in game number 3.
A lot of this is on Freaky predicting this first wall touch. You won't be able to see the replay, which is a bit too long ago, but Endpoint was confident in a hard clear, but there Freaky was ready to read that, slamming it across and just hoping that he had a teammate that was able to react quick enough. And honestly, Pashy had plenty of time. You saw him go all the way around, try and get the angle, and still full open net to shoot on. They will get the first goal this game.
Sometimes those are the harder ones to make. A wide open net, you just put too much pressure on yourself. Glad to see him have the awareness to recognize that nobody else is by him and he can take his time. As MOCKIT tries to move up, Fairy Peak not going to be the first one to get it. He actually gets bumped by Cheerio, but then Cheerio a little bit overzealous, misses it himself, but wins the 50-50. Tinny up immediately, trying to get this pinch back inside, but Pashy does a great job reading it. Takes another touch directly at the back of the net, forcing Chakran to go up and make a save. Freaky with the rebuttal cannot get the touch and falls down in mid. Fairy Peak gets a hit, keeping this pressure alive. Can Freaky get that angle? He pops it low. Can he get the double touch? Can he put it underneath? No, but Fairy Peak there to help follow up by 2, MOCKIT.
This pass from Freaky, this saucy little drift pass. Look at him. He drifts it just right there to the corner to get all the way around it and put it above the net. A lot of times the reason you put it like above the net and not to the side of it for the hard hit, if you are on the ground in the net and you have to get now to touch a ball that's going above the net, you can't use the wall anymore as a crutch. You have to use all of your...
Chakran with that goal, that dribble all the way down, putting him back within 1.
Just trying to take it all the way, gets it around 1, follows it up. I'm actually surprised that Fairy Peak wasn't able to get a little bit more above that. He knew Chakran was probably going to get at least one more touch the way he was positioned. But either way, well played to keep that all the way through.
Yeah, Chakran did a good job getting those extra couple touches to go from the right side to the left. Back across the initial jump. As the pinch comes down, Tinny flying through post, being the saver for MOCKIT here. There's a big clear coming up for MOCKIT, just trying to relieve some pressure, needing to collect some boost. As they have been put on their back heel the past minute here. Tinny plays that over to the side of Cheerio, seeing his teammate plays it back inside off the backboard. Will there be a third to follow it up? No, Fairy Peak able to get a touch out. Ball on the wall, looks like Freaky's gonna decide to play it down and takes a pop over the top. Hard hit into the corner, all the way over. Tinny able to follow up his own touch. Can he make the pass inside? No. This is ball pinched out. Chakran doing a good job getting up on that wall with a pinch back into the middle. Good placement, but no one there to follow it up again for Endpoint.
There it is, see Chakran retreating with a purpose, making himself a target again. Now, not worrying about going all the way back and letting somebody take his spot.
Those soft touches able to maintain possession for this team. Keeping it close with only just over a minute left. This game probably being one of the more crucial as it puts the team at match point in this best of 5. Ball in front of the middle, Pashy not gonna pass it off, just takes him himself.
Yeah, the moment he realized there were 2 in this corner, he just had to concentrate on the execution of this. Now, these generally, for a lot of pros, aren't terribly difficult, but you do run the chance of side flipping the wrong way if you're really in a panic or just timing it incorrectly. But honestly, someone really should have stayed in net for that. The moment Pashy saw the opportunity, he took it.
There was definitely a mistake in that corner as well. They slightly bumped into each other, allowing Pashy that free lane. The pass trying to come out from Tinny. Able to find a check run, puts a shot on net. Freaky able to get back just in time to push it out. Now his ability to play it long. Only one to beat. But Chakran rotating back actually plays that own backboard to play it out in the middle. Normally something dangerous, but all players moving up. Good awareness. Cheerio trying to dribble it down on top of his hood. Gets dunked and played in. Freaky with another fantastic touch to keep the pressure on. And with only 20 seconds left, this Endpoint team needs to find the back of the net to give them that chance to play into that 0-second time. But MOCKIT doing a good job killing the time on this clock. Any of these long, high lofts, but he's gonna play it underneath. Pashy able to recorrect himself. And as this ball hits the ground, that puts MOCKIT at match point.
We've seen a lot of creativity from Endpoint, but it's just so difficult to break through MOCKIT right now. I mean, the 3 goals we've seen come from Endpoint haven't been the passing plays that they've been looking for, but they clearly have been putting them up with all the shots they have on target. MOCKIT, it's almost like they're just trying to break them. Kind of the old meta that we've seen in previous seasons where like, we're just going to keep shooting until you either give up mentally because your brain can't handle it,
right,
or you've run out of resources and you have no more boost.
Yeah, and that's something that MOCKIT's been doing really well. Even though there's a lot of pressure coming out from Endpoint, you see it in their shots alone, able to hit 8 on the board. For them, it just seems to be that the possession control on one side of the field just seems to be lacking. They do get it downfield, they do apply some pressure, but it's pretty subtle.
Yeah.
And it's just not enough to really put this MOCKIT team into a pinch. Where MOCKIT on the other side, when they do get that offensive side and that pressure coming through, it's like you can tell this Endpoint team is flying across the goal to make these last-ditch efforts.
And you can see how consciously MOCKIT tries to turn around just to stifle any kind of forward momentum.
Yeah, they don't want to make it for
Endpoint
free, right?
Yeah, at the midfield, you see somebody turn on real quick, just slow it down because these players are trying to come at them so quickly. You want to stop those counterattacks. You know, counterattacks are all about precision. You only have a few touches to get it onto net before they're going to get back in time, but there's always someone there to mess with it. MOCKIT is just there. They're just bullying you in the middle.
That sounds like Pashy and his team to a T. So, seeing if they can keep it up here. They are on match point. If they win this, they are into the RLCS. But for not, whoever drops down will go to the lowers and has a second chance later today. But trying to close it out here in game number 4. Very Peak and Cheerio with a pretty equal 50-50. Pashy is able to get the first touch. Ball played into the side by Fairy Peak. Decides to let Freaky come from behind. Play it up. He's going to be able to get the boost, but he decides to go for the ball instead. Forces Cheerio to make a touch. Allows Fairy Peak played off that backboard. Pashy with a shot inside, with Tinny there to shut it out. Has one shot after another, unfortunately for MOCKIT. Fairy Peak not able to find that one as a long clear just wide. Cheerio get the angle. He plays that across, but a save from Fairy Peak. Cannot believe he makes that a time, and a quick counterattack is going to lead that all the way down as Pashy definitely secures that goal.
I can't blame them too much for trying to dedicate so much for this, and Shakaran not expecting him to go above for that. Freaky just clearing that all the way out. Pashy 90, that's a goal secure.
I mean, I just wanted to see the sub-zero goal explosion.
Yeah, that's true.
It's one of the less liked ones for some reason because I think Hellfire is just so sweet. But pretty cool. I like it. Again, we see within that first sub 1 minute, only 1 goal on the board. Then it just kind of hits the fan. Everybody moving up the pace just a little bit. Tinny trying to go for the 50-50, allows Freaky to play that over to the left. No real intention other than to just buy some time so they can move out. Almost like a line change in hockey. The ball is pinched. Back over to the side. It takes a ridiculous bounce and catches Pashy off guard, but he's able to feather his boost. Doesn't get the touch, allows Freaky to move up, take it out. But this is Endpoint's chance. They have the ability to pressure it here. But that's exactly what Carpet, you and I were talking about. As soon as they make that initial touch and doesn't pan out, they all immediately back off.
Yeah, they're struggling with just being able to turn things in momentum quickly, but there we go. And again, the defense. Fairy Peak had what looked like was going to be a weak touch, but he's able to gently put it over into the corner anyways, confidently keeping it away from his net.
Good job by Freaky allowing Fairy Peak to rotate back and take that boost. Allows him to move up with Pashy here, but doesn't get the pass over to him. Quick turnaround for Endpoint, an opportunity coming out from Chakron, but met in the air by Freaky. And that seems to be the difference as well. MOCKIT immediately able to get another touch in succession to transition down to the field. Fairy Peak deciding that Pashy and him both need to go back on defense. Not that he gave Pashy much of a chance with that bump. Tinny, another long clear back on that. Waiting for this Endpoint team to crash into it as we're halfway through this match. MOCKIT just doing a great job so far of killing the clock.
Yeah, Endpoint seems a bit flustered. Some of these touches are not characteristic of what these players are capable of. A couple of weak ones in the corner, just trying to force the touch when in reality, you might have a better time just kind of staying slow behind it.
What a shot. Pashy leaving this one for Freaky, the trust and the placement.
And there it is, Tinny on the backboard expecting something harder, and now he doesn't know what to do. Him and Cheerio trying to take it above and below, but Cheerio probably struggling on boost. Freaky intelligently going for the far post, and now 2 goals up with 2 minutes and 14 seconds remaining.
Credit to Tinny as well. Almost got over to make that save. Using that second jump wisely, but a flick over the top, just barely missing from Cheerio. Almost able to find it. But Tinny has an opportunity, one-on-one situation, and he forces it. Easy save for Fairy Peak. As Tinny with a response, another save from MOCKIT. Ball pinched downfield to relieve some pressure. Pass over to the side, you see Tinny play it back in the corner. Not sure if that was intentional or not, but it does allow them to get another one after that. MOCKIT does a good job reading it out. As Pashy plays a flick inside over to Freaky, just barely missing. That could have been a 1-2 into the back of the net. But with only a minute and a half left, Endpoint seemingly in trouble, needs to score something, get some momentum going in their favor. Otherwise, they are going to be dropping into the lower bracket of this tournament. As for MOCKIT, they're so very close, but a huge, long pinch for Cheerio. A boomer of a clear, putting them back within one.
Fairy Peak going left, assuming that this was going to hit towards the wall, as they usually tend to, but he didn't give himself enough room to try and go to the middle for this. And right now, what it seems to be from Endpoint is that they're trying to do a lot. They're always trying to cheat up and give themselves options and spread out, but they're doing it too much against a full power team. And by that, I mean a team that still has 3 people sitting and waiting. You usually want to do a couple of just mechanical things to try and get it by 1 or 2 people, and then when you're 3-on-2 or 1-on-2, oh, and here it is, starting to take it away. MOCKIT has burnt down the house that Endpoint built for themselves, of a little bit of comfort in that victory.
I feel like you can contest how that feels a little bit. Even though you still have yours, you know the feeling of what it might be like. But for Tinny, unfortunately, he had to make that last-ditch effort, make that save, and it just plays right back into the middle. Easy shot from MOCKIT as they're trying to run away with this one. A touch from Freaky, perfect placement, second touch. And it looks like MOCKIT has their name on the board for this one.
This one might be done for. Freaky just getting a nice hard clear. Cheerio and Tinny not really dedicating who they think should go for it. Tinny trying to get the blind spot from Freaky. You want to try and come across with those when you can, because Freaky's not looking to juke the person to his left. He has no idea how to get around that guy. When the person underneath him, he's got full sights on is the one he's trying to go around. So it was a valiant effort and attempt, but he just outpaced the defender coming from the side.
Well, it may not be a 3-0 sweep, as the guys on the desk predicted, but relatively close. This MOCKIT team just having to waste the last 35 seconds here. Pashy and Tinny up on the wall, but Freaky there again to put a shot on net. Hits bar down and in. That is all but over for Endpoint.
These strikes have just been phenomenal. Their accuracy is something they clearly have been honing a bit. Look at that, beautiful into the corner. It bounced right and down perfectly into the net. I mean, that is as upper 90 as it gets, folks.
Beautiful shot from Freaky. Part of the reason why they brought him on, obviously, a lot of people talk about him being that quote-unquote #2 spot when he was on Penta, just behind Pondex, who we saw earlier in the day. But not to be taken lightly at all. Freaky has been all over the pitch. As they allow him to take it here, why not with how he's been playing? And as these last 10 seconds drop down, MOCKIT is going to be into the RLCS, the #2 seed just behind Gale Force, and proving exactly why that is. 1 second left, can they get one last one? No, Shockround's gonna end it. And MOCKIT Esports, your next team into the RLCS.
MOCKIT Esports played that well, and I really like the ideas coming out of Endpoint. But I think the problem is they were just trying to go against a full-powered team. It's like, if you're gonna, you want to put a couple dents in their armor before you try and knock them off the horse, right? So I feel like sometimes they would just see a full roster right in front of them, all prepared with full boost, and then they're like, let's get a crazy passing play. Against MOCKIT Esports, you're probably not going to catch them off guard, but you want to break them down a little bit, force them to struggle here and there, whether it be with boost or whether it be by just being out of position, and then that's when you try and get those plays to make the last 1 or 2 people fluster and panic, like, there's no one to buy me out of this situation. So I think their ideas are there. They just need to try and execute it a little bit better. I mean, they've still got the lower bracket run, so they're not out yet. And at the minimum, they're still in RLRS, right? They're still in the rival series. So right now, they still are going to try and fight for a chance in the RLCS.
Yeah, it just seemed to be that they needed to couple that. You wanted to draw a defender out and then apply that pressure. And they applied that pressure. And even when you saw all 3 players on MOCKIT make a save, they were all retreating back rather than following up. So unfortunate for them, but that will not be the end of Endpoint. Congrats to MOCKIT on their way in, but over to the guys on the desk.
Yeah, what an awesome victory there for MOCKIT. Pashy in a familiar place, I suppose. A 3-1 victory there for MOCKIT. They're your next team in the RLCS for the European region. Axel Toss back here on the desk with Gibbs and James Bott. Let's go ahead and take a look at the Mobile One high performance replay from that match and break down exactly how MOCKIT was able to get their spot in RLCS.
And that might have been a 3-1, but it was still relatively clean for MOCKIT. It never looked like they were in danger of losing. Maybe games 2 and 3 is when ENDPOINT had a chance to get back into the series, and they did take one of those games. Just a few too many mistakes from them, and MOCKIT knows how to clean up mistakes every single time.
Yeah, and really the one game that they did lose was the overtime game where Freaky missed that one off the wall. That was a pretty bad miss from him. But still, every other point in the tournament, they were controlling the game from start to finish.
Plus, we see, like, here we go again with Pashy. MOCKIT is a defensive team. They only allowed 1 goal in all 3 of their wins, and then only 2 goals in the game that they did concede. So it's just Pashy again trying to build that defense first, then offense second. Now the main problem with this squad is if you go defense first and you start playing against those high-powered offenses, it's extremely hard to stop those. Now ENDPOINT is not a high-powered offense. It works here. I want to see this going forward with MOCKIT during league play, see if they can control some of those high-powered offense. I like Gale Force. Like, Gale Force looked amazing in that game 3. It might be hard for MOCKIT.
Frontline too. That was very
yeah. Frontline looked great too. So it's gonna be hard for MOCKIT, I think, to play that defensively. They'll have to get a little bit more of that offense going. But Freaky actually impressed me. He was scoring a lot of goals or getting a lot of assists as well throughout the series. So if they can keep that up, they have a good chance at going forward throughout league play.
We've had a lot of teams around Pashy in particular that's had a lot of history in the RLCS. How do you rank this roster, this group that he's accumulated around him, compared to past rosters?
I definitely think it's the weakest team that he's had compared to past rosters. I mean, he made it to the finals, the grand finals of the RLCS.
True.
And last season he had Violent Panda on his team as well.
I think last season's roster might have been the weakest for them because they had a sub out Devo for Shawset. Shawset was a little bit weaker, I thought, last season. He seems to be playing pretty well so far here. This team seems on paper at first, like when they were announced, I thought it would be the weakest, but they've shown results. So it's one of these wait and see, like in league play. We haven't seen a lot of these high-powered offenses again play them week in and week out. So I want to see for a little bit, but I think they can be a world championship team again.
Yeah, and on that note, you know, MOCKIT joins Envy, Flipside, XL, Gale Force, and Frontline. Where do you kind of rank MOCKIT among the other teams who have qualified for league play already?
They're my wait and see. They are definitely in that conversation of a playoff team, and then it's just that one series they would have to win. I think it's possible, but I would definitely put them probably 4 through 6, a possible 7th if things go wrong, but I think they'll be a playoff team.
Yeah, I mean, I could even put them as high as 3. Flipside, for instance, they made it in top 2, but I don't think they're a top 2 team right now with how they're playing. So, yeah, but again, really, we'll just have to wait and see.
Yeah, that's what the RLCS is right now. Again, league play starting up next weekend. We're not far away at all from getting the season officially kicked off. Congratulations to MOCKIT joining a very special group there in the European region. A lot of great Rocket League play so far that we're able to see. We're going to go to another break here, but leading us into this break is actually a special video put together by a community member, a player by the name of Doomsy.